and they all lived happily ever after. The end. Alright kids, story time's over. It's about your bedtime. I'm gonna have to wrap it up, okay? Their story time might be over, but yours is just beginning. Welcome to Pigface's 12 Days of Christmas. For the next 12 days, I'm going to show you 12 different, unique command inventions. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy Pigface's 12 Days of Christmas. Hello, this is Pigface. Today, I want to show you my magnum opus. This is a working clock within Minecraft. There are no mods, no data packs, only blocks and a few commands. That's all you need to make this work. So if you have creative and access to commands, you can make this. I'm not going to show you how to build the actual thing, but I'm going to show you how to make that mechanism up there. So what you want is a place to put the clock. And I'm going to do this size because this is easy and it's about the size of a trapdoor, which is what I'm using for the hand. And I'm going to put a button in the center here. This is not only for decoration, but also to line this up. And I'm just going to grab a debug stick and make it powered. That way you can't press it and mess up the trapdoors. What I'm going to do now is we're going to need to do some scoreboard things. First I'm going to just fill this in a little bit. But we're going to make a few scores, or one score. 4 score and 7 years ago. So scoreboard, objectives, add, and I'm going to call this time, and just say dummy. And dummy just means it doesn't take in anything, it doesn't change by itself, which is what we want. We want to control when it changes. And I'm going to come back here, and I'm going to put a command block down, a repeating command block that just does scoreboard, players, add, and I'm just going to say clock, because you can put anything in here. This is just the username area, but because it doesn't matter what username it is, you could put literally anyone in here. It doesn't even need to be an account that exists. And time 1. If you do always active repeating, and then do scoreboard, objectives, set display, sidebar, time, you'll see that it's constantly ticking up if you look over here. Now what we're going to do is we want to put the actual hand in. And how we're going to do this is look at the button and do /set block, press tab 3 times and get those 3 numbers. I'm just going to copy them. Then do /summon, block, display, then paste that in curly brackets, do block, state, colon, curly brackets again, name with a capital N, colon, quotation marks, and I'm going to do spruce trapdoor. And that will give us a spruce trapdoor. Now what we want to do is we want to line this up with the center. And you'll see right now it is not lined up because the arrow is there. And also, it is not rotated the correct way. We want the line to be going off to the right. So what I'm going to do to switch these things around is first I'm going to rotate it. And the way I'm going to do this is /data merge. Or actually, first before I do that, I'm going to do /tag at e limit equals 1, sort equals nearest, type equals block display, and I'm going to add the tag our hand. And that's going to make it easier to select this entity going forward. Now I'm going to do /data merge entity at e in the square brackets tag hour hand. And then you still have to do limit 1. Then do curly brackets, and I'm going to write rotation with a capital R, colon, square brackets, and I'm going to do 180.0f, comma 0.0f. And that's going to make it rotate 180 degrees. With the blue line, two important things: you want the blue line to be facing away from the clock, and you want it to be facing that way, towards the right of the clock. Now, it's still not quite where we want it to be. We want this end of the blue line, the one that's touching the trapdoor, to be in the center of this button. And what I'm going to do to do this is I'm just going to teleport this entity a little bit. So I'm going to do execute as at E tag equals hour hand at S run TP tilde tilde tilde. And I'm just going to enter for now, because what I want to look at is what the coordinates I'm looking at, what direction I'm looking at. So I'm looking west right now, which is negative x. So we just want to make the x a little bit lower. So I'm going to do minus 0.3 and see how close that gets us. We don't want it to be fully in the wall. We want it to be maybe 2 pixels out. So I'm going to do negative 0.1, and I think that's good. That's about where I want it. And the important thing too is that the blue line is still outside of the clock, because if it goes inside, even if there's parts of the trapdoor sticking out, the trapdoor will get all unshaded and weird looking, and you won't be able to see the detail of the actual texture. Now I want it to move it a little bit up, which is the y coordinate. So I'm going to do 0.5, and that will get us centered exactly on the button. Now what we want to do to rotate this is / execute store result entity, and that means we're just going to be storing the result, whatever we run, inside this hour hand. So we want to select it, tag equals hour hand, and limit equals 1. Then we want to do rotation with a capital R again, then square brackets, and 1. And then this float, and this is where you can fiddle with it a little bit. I think I'm going to have the clock reset, and if you want the clock to reset, it is very important that it resets on a multiple of 360, and this needs to scale down from that multiple to 360. So I'm going to make it 3600, so I'm just going to do 0.1 to divide it by 10. Then what we want to do is run scoreboard players get clock time, and you'll see if I do that, it will rotate it. And now I'm going to copy this and put it in another constantly running repeating command block. So now you see it will start rotating. Now if this is all you want to do, you're fine. But the thing is, this number will start getting really big, and it will eventually roll over and kind of break everything. So what I'm going to do, and this is smart too if you want to be able to detect when it has reached the top of the clock, is make a max. So I'm going to do scoreboard players set max, and that's again just the username, time 3600. And that's what I was talking about with dividing to get 360, because the scale I put into that command block, which is 0.1, if you multiply that by 3600, you get 360, which would be a full rotation. There is one thing you will notice if I do scoreboard players set clock time 0, it doesn't go up at 0 time, it goes to the right. So this would be a clock rotated 90 degrees. And the way to fix that is actually kind of difficult. You can do math with the scale, but that's really not worth it, because what we can do is instead do this. Data merge entity at E tag equals our hand, limit equals 1. And what I'm going to do here is block state, and then curly brackets, and then properties with a capital P, and then colon, and then curly brackets. Oh, you don't want to capitalize this. Then what we want to do is open colon quotations true. And that's going to make it open, and you'll see this makes it look very janky. It is still going around, but it's at a 90-degree angle. And to fix this, we need to figure out which direction is going to the left of the clock, which in this case is south. And we want to make it facing south. So to do this, I'm just going to delete open and do facing, and then quotations south, and that will make it aligned with the button still, but now it will rotate around properly, and if I make that 0, it will go to the top. So now to reset it, we need another repeating command block. I'm going to put that back here as well, and it might be smart to label these, by the way, in case you get confused which is which. And I'm going to do scoreboard, or sorry, I'm going to do execute if score clock time is bigger than or equal to max time. Then I'm going to do run scoreboard players reset clock. And then if you wanted to, you could put a chain command block coming out of here to have something run every time it reset. But that is the functioning clock. And you can come in here in adventure mode, you can't punch this or anything. And this will just work. This one I have set up to right now, every 2.5 minutes, it will go around. You'd have to do your own calculations to figure out how long you want this to go and change the numbers appropriately. Thank you all for joining me in Pigface's 12 Days of Christmas. Now, let the music begin.